Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Tom Coates, and welcome to Richmond Ions of Central Virginia Ions Community Group meeting for August 21st, 2022. Richmond Ions is a community group of the Institute of Noetic Sciences headquartered in Petaluma, California, and we Ions itself was founded in 1973. Hello? Okay. Recording is in progress, is that what that was? Okay. In 1973 by Edgar Mitchell, who was the lunar landing module pilot for Apollo 14, and like many of those, several people who walked on the moon in the Apollo program, he had a take experience from, in his case, a consciousness experience which occurred while he was en route back to Earth and seeing Earth in the distance as a pale blue dot. And he decided at that point in his life that he wanted to shift the trajectory of his life to explore the frontiers of consciousness, especially the interface between science and spirit. And so I think that mission was in 71, and in the middle of 73, he, with the help of a substantial donor, set up the Institute of Noetic Sciences as a vehicle for that purpose, and it's been going ever since. We in Richmond have had our community group going since January of 1996, and continuously, which makes us one of the oldest continuously operated community groups, and continuously meeting community groups in the system, as most of them meet only sporadically, and many of them have closed down their operations during the pandemic. We've been blessed here to be able to keep going. With the onset of the pandemic, we lost our venue, and we shifted to Zoom only, and then in June of 2021, we were able to continue to get back to doing in-person meetings. And because we picked up people from different locations on Zoom, we kept the Zoom platform going. We've had some rough spots from the technical standpoint here and there, but we think things are getting better now. Our programs for the last year, or maybe 13 months, are now recorded and accessible online through our Facebook page. Isn't that right, Carol? And that will be an ongoing library that can be accessed at any time by anyone at this point at no cost. And so we invite anyone who would like to visit any of our old shows or programs, or whatever they should be called, to go online, and you can just go to our Facebook page or go to our website, which is richmondions.com. That is a link to the Facebook page. And if you're a member of Facebook, which I'm not, you can go on there and see the see the program. But most of us, even if we're not members, know someone who is, because Facebook is so ubiquitous in our lives these days. I would also mention that we exist only on the contributions of those who attend our meetings, and those who attend our meetings are members. Their membership qualifications are simply showing up either in person or online. There's no dues requirement. There's no requirement of any kind. Just anyone who has an interest in hearing or seeing what we have to present is welcome to be here and to take it in. We do ask for people to consider making love offerings either online through our PayPal function on the website, or else in person through the love offering basket we pass at these meetings. And we ask you to reach to the bottom of your wallet and the bottom of your heart, and where the two meet, we ask you to put that in the basket. it's only with that keeps us going, and that our budget is relatively minimal, but our expenses are there nonetheless, and so we appreciate everybody's very generous contribution. Without further ado, I'll turn the meeting over to Carol Louie, who is going to both give us our opening meditation and also introduce our speaker. Thank you, Carol.
Good morning. So I'm going to read from the Tao of Pooh. If any of you know the Tao, it's a beautiful way of living, and you mix that with Winnie the Pooh, and it can't get much better than that. And in this little, he calls it a song. I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to spare you and not sing it. But he sums up his interpretation of the Tao. To know the way, we go the way, we do the way we do the things we do, it's all there in front of you. But if you try too hard to see it, you'll only become confused. I am me, you are you. As you can see, when you do you, the things that you do, that you can do, you will find the way, and the way will follow you. Isn't that beautiful? So I am a Facebook person, and I have met so many wonderful people on Facebook. I've been doing reincarnation research for over 30 years now, and I belong to several reincarnation groups. And 3 years ago, I met Changzhen Li, who has done research among the Dong people in China. I wish I had read his book before I went to China in 2018, and I got to meet the Dong people also. I would have had so many questions. But Changzhen is, I think of him as like the Chinese Ian Stevenson and Jim Tucker. So we've had Jim Tucker here, and we're blessed that DOPS and UVA is not that far away from us. But Changzhen has been doing the kind of research that they've been doing in China with many people. And the Dong tribe or clan is an unusual group, and they really have some beliefs that I've never even heard of before. So I was surprised by when I read his book and learned of his research. He has a degree in science from Qingdao University, and he also has a certificate in law. But right now he's living in Canada, and so he's in our same time zone, I believe. Another book that he has written is Curing Schizophrenia. Curing Schizophrenia with Traditional Chinese Medicine. And I know that many of our people are mental health practitioners, so I'm sure you're going to want to get that book. And he's also contributed to children's textbooks. So without any further ado, I'm really proud to introduce Changzhen Li, and just keep your minds open because they're about to get blown.
Thank you, Carol Louie. Thank you very much for introducing me to make a speech here. I'm very happy today to share some of my discovery, true stories, and a little bit my own reflection of reincarnation. So in the recent year, I have finished 100 cases of reincarnation among Dong people, but a few other cases among Han people. So I think it's very urgent to do the research, because those children usually will lose all the past life memories when they grow up, even they are like 7 years old or 8 years old. So it's very urgent. That's why I try my best to use my own fund to do the research and the investigation, because I think their memories are very valuable, because it's very rare around us to find those cases. So I did some cases by myself. So I will use a PPT to introduce. Okay. So this is the book. It's available. So it includes 100 cases I have investigated face in person. I think each one is unique, and if we read all of them, I think everybody can get a lot of conclusions and solve a lot of puzzles about reincarnation. And here's my investigation method. So because a lot of people may think, okay, you finished the investigation and you write, but we are not sure what you write is exactly what you hear from the children. So I video most of the process, so everybody can check my book and the video. So I think this is a very important method, because each person has a belief system and has a preference. So maybe the researcher, investigator didn't want to cook the information, but without a video, people people will will feel suspicious about the research. So I think I'm similar to a delivery man, like it's a delivery. You order pizza from pizza store. Yes, the delivery person will not cook the pizza again, so you will receive what exactly cooked by the pizza store. So I'm the person. I write down whatever they tell me, those children. So and then you can read and you can decide which part you want to believe or not believe. So it's up to the readers, not the investigator or researchers. So this is my method. You can see this little girl in 2015. I interviewed her, her mother, her father, grandparents, and previous family members, including previous husband. So the birthmarks, you can see birthmarks, and you can see the group photo in previous life with his husband, and the reunion in this life. So this girl was visiting his previous family and her previous husband. So every process was recorded on the video. Now I want to introduce a little bit about the belief system of Dong people. First of all, I don't belong to any religion. I have an interest in religion. I read the Bible, Buddhism doctrine books, Taoism doctrine books, but I don't belong to any religion. So the local people, some people think they are tribal people. Actually, no, they are civilized Chinese. This minority actually, they keep a lot of traditional Chinese traditions because they live in very rural areas. So the Han people in eastern parts of China, actually, they have been over civilized, modernized, or even westernized. But those people living in the mountains, yeah, I think they are more Chinese than eastern part Chinese. So the language is different. The young generation can speak Mandarin fluently. Old people think you need an interpreter. So basically, they believe in heaven, earth, king, ancestors, and Confucius. You can see the home tablet. Each family has a home tablet. So the tablets actually, according to the research, investigation, interview, actually, their ancestors actually live there. So most people know that Chinese worship their ancestors. I think Aboriginal people in North America share the same tradition. According to the research, or if you read my book, you can understand that ancestors actually, they are true bodies living in the home. We can consider them as like a family guardian or family god. They live in the house. So there are lots of interactions between the ancestors and the newcomers, the new spirits. Those spirits, when they want to reincarnate in a specific family, usually they live inside. And as living people, we can see them, but they have lots of interactions with the ancestors. So next one is local god temple. This is a very important spiritual temple in China. Actually, in China, almost every village has a god temple, local god temple. It's not exceptional in Dong people. So the local god plays a very important role in reincarnation process. For example, in one case, 2 girls committed suicide. One is 13, the other is 7. They drank some pesticide, DDT. So when they died, when they crossed a river to reincarnate, and the local god from the local god temple in front of the village came out and say hello to them. Okay, the local god to the true spirits. Okay, you want to reincarnate? In our village? Okay, no problem, welcome. But you need a few weeks, so I provide you accommodation, and you can live here. So live there for a few days. So it's not true, actually. A lot of people think, okay, people committed suicide will go to the hell. That's not, I haven't seen such a fact. So local. Next one is local tomb. This is also plays a very important role in reincarnation process, because according to my research and investigation among Dong people, when a person dies, the spirits usually will go to the authority, go to do some business. Okay, then they will return from the local mayor, afterward mayor's office, and return to the village tomb, his tomb or her tomb, to live in the tomb for a while. So a local tomb actually is a home or house for the spirits in the afterworld. So are these stories are true stories with spontaneous past life memories? I think so. because there are several reasons. First, those children began to talk about past life when they are only 2 or 3 years old, usually suddenly. So I think there's a pattern that those past life memories is not about you recollect little by little. It seems like suddenly all the past life memory resumed in your brain. So it's so those children so it's almost impossible to lie. So you would, a little girl, little boy, 2 years old, you would see, okay, I have a wife, I have 3 children, or my wife is better than you, mom. Okay, it's very strange. True, those children have been recognized by by his or her family members and his or her previous family members. So they will verify, and a lot of tests. Only if you can pass the test, they can recognize you as their family members. So it's not easy for a very child to make up the stories. So do the parents have a motive to lie? I don't think so, because as a parents, actually, in their culture, in Dong culture, parents don't want their children to talk about past lives because they think it's a trauma. In my cases, or even in Stevenson's cases, Jim Tarkin's cases, we can see that over 70% of the children who have spontaneous past life memories, they experienced accidental death in previous life. So it was very hard to recollect those experiences. Like you want the children to talk about how they died, why they commit suicide, how they were murdered, executed. Okay, so accident of car. So it was very it was a true trauma. So parents hope their children to forget the past life memories as quick as possible. Second, as a child, if you talk about your past life memories, intermission memories, or even some life in the past life, actually, you could be isolated by your children. Isolated by your classmates. Here's the example, kids 12 and 13. You can see the twins, they committed suicide. One was, I think, 13, the other is 17. They were good friends in previous life, committed suicide by drinking DDT, pesticide. So in current life, they reincarnated as twins in one family. And in the primary school, they talked about their previous life, a lot of previous memories, including intermission memories. So the other children in the classroom feel scared, and one boy declared that, okay, everybody don't play with the twins because they are ghosts. They are ghosts of suicide. So the children, the twins, felt isolated in the classroom. So step by step, I think they will feel nervous to talk about their previous life. So another concern of the parents about their children's spontaneous past life memory is parenting. So if the children has spontaneous past life memories, because usually the reincarnation happens among the same village or neighboring village. So usually these children will connect a connection with the previous family members. They will be recognized by his or her previous family members. So intimacy connection is very strong with previous life families. So this could cause big problems, difficulty for the current parents. For example, in one case, a young man died, left with his young wife, beautiful young wife, and young children. So in current life, he was a boy. When he was 2 or 3 years old, he would watch his mom, and say, "Hey, mom, my wife is more beautiful than you. I want to live with my wife, not you." Okay. So he would cry before go to sleep. He missed his previous family so much. So his mother would say, "Okay, go to your wife, okay?" And the boy sometimes would say, "No, mom, I need your milk," okay, breast milk. And so I think, so in conclusion, they don't have a motive, they don't get any extra benefit being a child with spontaneous past life memories. And in my cases, there's a little bit different from other cases, like Stevenson's cases. In Stevenson's cases, about 20% of the subjects have intermission memories, but in my cases, 70% of them have intermission memories. So intermission memories means the memories between the two lives. So it's a memory about the past life, about afterward as a spirit or as a ghost. So because they don't encourage their children to talk about past life memories, I think this is a good chance to me, because I can encourage the children to talk about a lot of information that they have never talked about. For example, in this child, when I interviewed her, she was only 4 years old. His parents, grandparents told me they heard something from the girl, but they never, ever asked her to talk about her past life. So they listen without comments, they just listen. So they don't prompt her to talk. So during that interview, about over 4-hour interview, I asked her lots of information about the intermission time. So she mentioned that after death, there was it's a car incident. He was a young man, and when his body was hit by another motorcycle, he was dead, and he saw his own spirit came out of the body, and then another spirit jumped out to the body, and the two spirits were standing beside the body. And then they saw a local god coming with some enforcers of afterworld. So we don't know this accident was an accident or it was an accident caused by the afterworld. And then she mentioned that the spirits were taken to the Yama's office to do something. And then they returned. And then they lived in the same tomb. And then, because the body was getting stink very quickly, his spirit ordered the other spirit, the younger spirit, hey, you need to guard the tomb. Okay, I'm going to reincarnate. So then she reincarnated. So this was the first time for those accounts. So his parents astonished. So they have never heard. But I can feel the girls' guardians, parents were scared when they were hearing those extraordinary experiences. So I think it's a taboo in their culture to talk about intermission memory. Previous life is okay. So how do I find them out and persuade them to accept my interview? I think it's not difficult to find out those children with spontaneous past life memories. You just travel one village to another village. So everybody knows if there's such a child with past life memories. But I think it's a great challenge to persuade them to accept your interview, not because you are a stranger, because they think it's necessary. They don't want their children to talk about their trauma. So it's difficult. So my strategy is to live with them, try to be a member of them. So I do a lot of work with them in the farm. You can see the left photo. In the morning, 6 o'clock a.m., I went to the hill to help the villagers to collect the oranges. And 8 hours later, my work paid off. They introduced a very specific, very extraordinary case to me. So I do a lot of work for the local people. I live with them. I don't live in a hotel. I live in the local villagers' house. So I travel from one village to another village. Together I traveled over 40 different villages across 3 counties. So it's a big breakthrough, because before me in China, in this area, a lot of people, I think maybe more than 1,000 people have traveled there. Journalists, Buddhists, researchers, scientists. But altogether, they only finished the investigation of about 20 cases. So I finished the 100 cases. So here are 4 topics I'm going to talk about. So topic 1 is birthmarks. Topic 2 is about 2 souls cases. Topic 3 is about how to choose the next life. How and why those spirits choose a specific family or a specific woman as their mother. So topic 4 is about why we die at a specific time. So what's the universal reason for expected death or unexpected death? So topic 1, about birthmark, we have, I think also have read a lot of cases from Stevenson, Ian Stevenson. He's my pioneer researcher. I think every researchers, investigators follow his strict scientific method. So birthmarks, I think similar. A lot of those children bear birthmarks or birth deficiency corresponding to previous wounds. So in Dong people, because a lot of Dong people, they believe in reincarnation. They believe in that each person or each animal, each subject, even a tree, a grass, a chair, has a spirit. So everything has a spirit. So it's quite common to make a mark before a person is dying, or make a mark on the body, because they want to find out the next incarnate of their beloved. So we can see some message. So this is a little girl around 5 years old. I interviewed. In previous life, she was name is Xianghua Leng. Okay, in the middle photo, the left one was his husband Qingsan Wu. So they were very happy couple. They have a very good relationship. Lots of children, but the love was hard. So it's difficult to make a living there because it's a mountain area. So the lady would climb mountains to collect traditional Chinese medicine. And one day, unfortunately, she fell down from the mountain. During the falling down process, she got lots of wounds on the lips, chins, back, especially back. So his husband cleaned the wounds, and his husband, of course, has a very clear memory about the wounds. So about his wife. Then a few years later, not a few years later, about 6 years later, a girl was born, and the husband actually received a dream, something like, "Don't worry about me. I'm going to reincarnate in the neighboring house." So then, when the girl began to talk about, when the girl could speak, she talked a lot about her previous identity, and this news traveled to the husband. One day, the husband went to Reinxue's house, and so a lot of people, villagers around him, they prompted to him, "Okay, this is your previous wife." And the husband said, "No, I need some evidence. My wife has 7 wounds on the back." And the girl's father immediately pulled up the back, and everybody counted the wounds. Sure, there are such number of wounds on the back. So the little girl could visit her previous family frequently. It was like a return to her own home. So when I asked her, "Do you love your current parents?" "Yes." "Do you love your previous family members?" "Yes." So this is one of the case with birthmarks. So she was, Reinxue, she is fully recognized by the current family members. Her previous family members, like brothers, like sons, daughters, they still call her mom. Yeah. And here another case. This is quite extraordinary birthmark. It was named experimental birthmark by Stevenson. So this Wu Junhao, the Russian with the birthmark, in previous life, he was a lady about 60 years old. And before, when she was dying, her daughter-in-law make a mark on the body. She just used one finger, put some ash of the cooker, and then put in some oil, tung oil mixture, then press on the arm. So in this life, the birthmark is very clear. It's very, very clear. So when he about 3 years old, he suddenly his previous memory suddenly recovered, and he was so eager to visit his previous family. Her mother could not stop him, so her mother carried him, traveled about a few kilometers to visit his family members. He knows exactly the direction. He knows which house. He knows the information about his previous family members. And they, together, the little boy, entered the previous family, and he shows the birthmark, and he recognized everybody, and everybody else recognized him. So they called him mother, even he was a boy. So everybody called her mother. And they visit each year during special holidays, they reunion, they send gifts, weddings, they attend weddings, as he attended his son, daughter's weddings as a mother. So this is quite, I think, a little bit different from other cases in other countries, because in their culture, if you are recognized as previous family members, you will be treated as a true, real family members. Of course, the boy mother is very responsible for his previous family's business. If there was a quarrel, like once time, their sons, previous sons, has a quarrel about the land of forest. So he was a little boy. He was invited to previous family, and he said, "Okay, don't quarrel. You are all my sons. You are all one family. So I know the boundary of the forest. Before I die, I divided the land for you two. I know exactly where's the boundary line." And he went to the forest and digged up to some special charcoal. So the quarrel was solved by the boy mother. So here's another case with experimental birthmark. This little girl and her grandpa, actually, in previous life, the little girl was the gentleman's uncle. So the uncle visited the gentleman's house many times, and he before he died, he declared, "Okay, if there's a reincarnation, if reincarnation is possible, I would like to reincarnate in your family, because allow the environment here, allow the people here." So when the grandpa's uncle was dying, his wife made a mark with ink on the arm, so you can see the birthmark. So in the current life, the little girl, bears the birthmark. So in current life, they still have a good relationship. So I think this inspires us that basically where we could reincarnate depends on our social circle. Okay, if you have a lot of good friends, awesome friends, okay, healthy friends, healthy family, you could reincarnate in that family. If you have a lot of bad friends, like drug dealers or some crime, okay, so you could reincarnate in those family. So it's our own deeds, our own behavior controls our own reincarnation destination or our fate. So this is about birthmark. So here's another birthmark. I think this could be the most convincing case in my book, because the birthmark, the experimental birthmark, is not about paint. It's about Chinese characters. So in previous life, he was about 17, 18-year-old and died suddenly with some unknown disease as the only son. This family was very rich, local landlord. So his aunt could read and write. So his aunt wrote about 5 Chinese characters with red brush. So you can see the characters are big enough, and you can guess why his aunt chose the front arms instead of like a back, like a foot. And somebody make a mark on the bottom. Okay, so they didn't want. But this person made marks on the arms and with Chinese characters, because I guess they are so eager to find out their the boy's future incarnate. Because if you made a mark on the bottom, you can't find out. Okay, so if you made a mark on the arms, it's very clear, and anybody can see. Second, he chose to write big Chinese characters instead of marks, because Chinese marks can be read. Okay, so the names, the village name, so nobody can deny this boy is their boy. So this is, maybe they want to, I think their goal could be reclaim the boy in the next life. That's why. And unfortunately, they failed. Why? So when this boy delivered on the first time, his mother, of course, immediately saw the Chinese characters on her arm. It is said that at that time, all those Chinese characters can be read, so recognizable. Maybe after a few months, a few years, you can't read. So his mother was so worried. He covered the arms all the time. He forbid the boy to wear short-sleeved T-shirts. So until many years, like 7, 10 years, this was a homely top secret. Next topic, I would like to talk about 2 souls in one body. So this is a lot of readers told me they have never read such cases in Stevenson's research or other people. However, in the local eye, altogether, there are only 8 cases with double spirit. So double spirit means when person is dying, they are one but 2 or even more spirits detached from the same body. And in some cases, the 2 spirits will live together for a while in the tomb. But in other 2 cases, the 2 spirits came from the same body reincarnate respectively, and they claimed that their previous life is the same body. They have almost identical past life memories. So this is quite extraordinary. I think it's extraordinary, it's rare, but actually the local people, in some cases, they mention that it's quite common. It's quite common. They mentioned their intermission memories in the tombs. They say that in some tombs there are not one spirit live there, but two identical, but the appearance are identical. So they wear the same clothes, the same appearance. So they live together, work together. So it's quite common. This is quite common. And now I'm going to talk about one case. It's case number 17 and 18. You can read the more details about the case in my book. The name is Shi Juan in previous life. So Shi Juan was died about 30 years old. However, his wife was quite young. It's very young. And 36, I'm sorry, 36. His wife was younger, 10 years than him. And there are two children left. So he died of liver problem, maybe liver cancer, I don't know, but liver problem. And in 1 month, okay, very soon, one spirit, I call it the primary spirit, or master spirit, reincarnate in a village about 20 kilometers away. Actually, it is the current family was his previous good friend. So his current father chose the same name as Shi Juan, but a different Chinese character. Pronunciation the same. Also called Shi Juan. I call it Little Shi Juan. So Little Shi Juan was born in 1 month after his previous life. Old Shi Juan died, and about 2 years old, Little Shi Juan began to talk about his previous family member, his wife. He missed so much. And then the news spread to his wife, previous wife, and his previous wife visited a few times of him. And when the little boy saw his previous wife, he cried. He cried so much. And before the death, the little boy, the old Shi Juan warned, or maybe last will, to his wife, okay, dear wife, please don't get married again. So would you agree with me? His wife, very young, only 26 years old, had to agree. I think this is not fair. Yeah, this is not fair. So they have a lot of interaction when little Shi Juan was a little boy. Then, about 15 years old, so another boy, there was another boy about 2 or 3 kilometers away. 15 years later, okay. So this boy named Xiaoyu, Lu Xiaolu, this boy also has past life memories. She mentioned that his previous life identity is also old Shi Juan. So there are 2 reincarnations from the same person. And this one, this Xiaoyu, okay, told me, mentioned that After death, there were after the old Shijun died, there were two spirits came out of the body. He mentioned that the big spirit reincarnated very soon, and he was the little one. So he had to live in the tomb for 15 years. And each year in the Qingming festival, also called tomb sweeping day, it's a special day in China. So people would go to their ancestors' tomb to sweep and prepare some delicious food. So each year, she saw his wife visited him, bring delicious food for him. So on the 15th year, he saw his wife came again. And at that time, he had a good idea. He told me, okay, I would not to stay in the tomb. Okay, living in a tomb was so boring. I would go back home with my wife. So he came up to the tomb and followed his wife. When his wife, of course, came to, he would climb into the bus too. So they together were going back to the home village. Before the home village, there was another village. His wife was going to buy some seeds, and the little spirit suddenly saw a pregnant woman. He watched the pregnant woman, and suddenly he made a new decision. I would not return with my wife. I cannot reincarnate with my wife because I asked my wife never get married, so there would be no chance for me to reincarnate with my wife. So he stayed in that village and lived in the pregnant woman's house. And before the very late age, he reincarnated as a boy. So this boy was a little bit different from the big spirit. I think the younger spirit, his reincarnation has a closer connection with his previous wife. So there are lots of interactions. So you can read from my book. So here's the routine of the two reincarnations. So one person with two spirits. And each spirit reincarnated respectively. Another case is case number 14. Case number 14. So this is also a little girl named Yu Yuan. Yu Yuan. So he was died of motorcycle accident. We don't know it was a true accident or caused by the afterward, but he died. And he had a young wife, very young children. Usually, if you died with a young wife, young children, the new incarnation has much more has a stronger connection with the previous families compared with those who died normally with very old age. So I think I have talked a little bit before. So he died. There were two spirits came out from the body. They saw the body was bleeding, and then they went to the afterworld. And then they returned, living in the tomb together, and then one reincarnated, and one still stay at the tomb. So here they mentioned a lot of intermissions about the afterworld. So in the afterworld, is, I think in the afterworld, I would like to say it's not a vacuum. Actually, it's not a hell, not a heaven. I think it's a community. It's a community just like our community, because that area is the countryside. So there's a village of human beings. Then there's a village of spirits. Exactly, to be exact, it's a tomb hill. So the tomb hill is a community of the afterworld. To us, it's tombs, but to them, are house. And there are some invisible constructions, like shops, like Yama's office, like local guard office. They are invisible for us, but they are invisible for them. So it's a community in the afterworld. And the afterworld has a mechanism, according to their accounts, that to make sure that you will not remember your previous life in your next life. So they would forbid, ask the spirits to drink a special soup or special, how to say, special medicine maybe. It's liquid, like Coca-Cola maybe, I don't know. It's a little bit bitter, but you have to drink. After they believe that when you drink such liquid, you could lose the ability to remember your previous life. So this little girl mentioned that because her current parents don't allow her to visit her previous family members, and however, the girl misses her previous family members so much because the wife was very young. The wife is young, the child is young, so almost each night after falling to sleep, her spirit would leave the body and fly to her previous family member, previous family. He would stay there for a couple of hours. He would say her previous wife and child, almost each night. So we can see the connection is very strong, very, very strong. And some spirits can fly. So this is quite common actually. Some spirits need to eat in the afterworld, but some spirits don't need to eat. So if you need to eat, you need to go to the washing room. That's very normal. So in my opinion, spirits actually souls are kind of life. They are a kind of life in the afterworld. Consciousness actually is the activity of the spirit. So your body, your spirits leave your body temporarily. You bring all your memories. You visit your previous family members. You add memories to your spirit, not your body. And then your spirit return with your the new memory. So these cases show that our memory, our consciousness, is not the activity of our body, but rather the activity of the spirit, or we can say soul. So in inspiration and discussions, if the primary spirit is from somebody else, where does the secondary spirit come from? Actually, I have no idea. I have not collected convincing evidence about the secondary spirits. Where are they from? Why the primary spirit can reincarnate in a short time? The average time is 2 years or 2 years. So on the average, 2 years, the primary spirit will reincarnate in China. However, the secondary spirit will need a much longer time. The secondary spirit usually will stay in the tomb for 15 years. So why? Because he's not strong enough, he's not mature, he needs to study, or I don't know. I think possible. Those reasons are possible. Second question is, we know that all the spirits, according to the reincarnation cases, Stevenson's cases, Jim Tucker's cases, lots of cases. So the spirit is not from the parents, it's not generated by the parents, but from outside. So we would think, okay, if a person has a secondary spirit, does that mean that our parents not only can produce a fertilized egg, embryo, but also a secondary spirit, a younger spirit? So I think it is possible. I think it's possible. Why? Because in some theory, everything has a spirit, no matter human subject or a stone, a grass, a tree. Okay, everything has a spirit, has an elementary spirit. So if a chair has a spirit, why not a baby, fertilized egg has a spirit? I guess, I speculate that when a couple generates a fertilized egg or embryo, actually the fertilized egg or embryo has a spirit. This spirit is not strong enough to drive the body. This spirit can maybe is too young to drive the body, I think. Because there are two cases. I have two very special cases. In those cases, the spirit entered not a fetus, but already born baby. In one case, the baby actually was 90 days. So the baby was 90 days, but his spirit, the primary spirit, was not ready because the gentleman was still living. And until the 9th day, 90 days, he died suddenly, and the spirit entered the baby. So asked the mother, what was different compared with your other children and other children before the first day and the 90th day? So the mother told me that basically we were very worried. I said, why? Because we thought the baby was an idiot. Why? Because the baby had no interactions with us. You know, when a baby is 30 days, the parents can smile at the baby. The baby can smile back. There's a lot of interactions, but this baby, without outside spirit, was quite extraordinary. It looks like she looks like an idiot. She could eat, the body function was basically okay, but she could not smile. She could not do any interactions with the parents. So, just like an idiot. Then, on the 90th day, when the outside spirit entered the body, the baby suddenly could smile. Everything was okay, normal. Everything was normal. So I guess the opposite side spirits, including our spirits, are mature spirits. They are mature enough to drive a body, but the original spirits, or the spirits of the fetus or fertilizer egg, they are too young, too weak to support a body or drive a body. So this is my speculation, not enough evidence. Next one is about, okay, I think I have finished this part. So topic 3 is about how to choose the next life. I think a lot of people have interest about this part because everybody wants to reincarnate as a prince or princess or rich family. Yes, nobody wants to. Very few people want to reincarnate in a very poor or very bad family. So this is easy to understand. So we'll discover the secret why we choose different families and how and why those children choose a specific family as their future life. So first of all, over 70% have freedom to choose their future parents. So those children told me, okay, in the afterlife, it's them, not others. They made the decision to choose the current family, and they don't regret. They think this is the correct choice. So I think about 20% not sure, and 10% about, or maybe more than 10%, they don't have freedom. They are arranged by the authority of the outer world. This is similar to our society, yes. Most people have freedom to choose your favorite wife or husband or partner, yes. But some, their marriages are arranged by their parents, yes. Of course, you have freedom to choose a family member in next life. That doesn't mean you can make a good decision. Yes. Over 70% would choose someone who is a family, friend, or acquaintance. In one case, a man chooses the killer. So I think this is very inspirational, very important to us. A lot of people say, okay, a person is like in talents, like musical talents, gifts, mathematics, anything, is decided by the DNA. So they say, a lot of scientists say, okay, the parents' DNA decide the children's DNA. Yes. So what? Do you think the parents' DNA decide the children's intelligence, personality, like a musical gift, social gifts? Okay, no, there's no such evidence. I haven't seen such evidence. I haven't seen any scientist discovered a specific DNA decide this person has a good ability of mathematics or music. No, I haven't seen. I guess, okay, since 70%, the majority people would choose a person as their future mother in the afterworld or before they die. Among those people, they have a close connection. So it's your social circle decide your destination of your reincarnation. So look, usually a musician, okay, has a lot of musician friends, yes, okay. So their circle, social circle, is among the music. So they could has a higher chance to attract a musician, a dead musician, to reincarnate as their future children. That's why we observe that it's very common. Okay, musician children usually have a musician gift. Okay, politicians' children usually has a gift in politics. Yeah, mathematicians you similar. So because there's not because of the DNA. Okay, but because of the social circle. In a few cases, you would choose a leader because I don't know why. In this case, during the Cultural Revolution, an activist killed intellectual. So he was killed at a very young age, wrongly. And then this time he reincarnated as the killer's daughter when she was about 3 years old. One day, he suddenly resumed her previous memories. He seriously watched his father and said, "Hey, Daddy, in previous life, killed me, cruelly. Look at my face. There's a very huge, ugly, big birthmark on the face, which is responding to previous wound." His father was very sad. Was very, very sad. His father was petrified to see anything. So, and for those old people, usually old people, they died peacefully. In Dong culture, they would make a decision. Usually, they would make a decision. They would make a decision to reincarnate. Before they die, sometimes they have they have pick up the target. In one case, so for example, in one case, a little girl, not little girl, old lady, he was alcoholic, very seriously alcoholic. His daughter-in-law, sons, didn't allow her to drink any alcoholic. But his nephew's wife allowed her to drink as much as he could. So he thought, okay, this nephew's wife was so nice. I would to be her daughter when I die. The little girl told me he made the decision before death, long before death. So when he died, lots of her sons, daughter-in-law, daughters, family members were so busy to prepare the funeral. She was immediately done something. I think you can guess. Okay, he drank a big bottle of alcohol, a white wine, and then ate a big bowl of beef. And then she had no interest to watch her own funeral. He rushed to her nephew's home. So he walked about 10 kilometers and climbed into the house. He knew that her nephew's wife was pregnant and was about to deliver. And he stayed there about 7 days. The spirit lived there with the family, future family, live together, eat together. And then on the last day, the spirit saw there was ambulance. Actually, it was not an ambulance. It was a van. He thought it was the time. So he rushed to the van with her future mother to hospital. On the delivery bed in the hospital, he saw some women with white uniforms in China, in hospital. Nurses, doctors wear white uniforms. And I asked her, how did you enter your mother's belly? The little girl told me, okay, I climbed to my mother's belly, I shrinked, I changed my body much smaller, and then I tear up. I opened my mother's belly, asked her, did you see any blood? She told me yes. Then he told me he entered his mother's tomb, and he remembered the whole process. So the feeling after entering the womb, he told me it was very warm and peaceful when you entered the body, but it was very difficult to control the body, he told me. And when the baby was delivered, the baby still has memory, and the baby saw, the nurses, doctors, and especially her new mom. Her mom, and she was. She told me, the little girl told me, she was very happy. She thought he made a good decision, is a perfect decision. In some other cases, the old lady before die, one lady declared, okay, next life, I would reincarnate as a boy instead of a girl. As a woman, the life was so hard. I don't want to be a woman anymore. If I can't become a man, I refuse to reincarnate. So he succeeded. So ask the little boy, so when you choose your future mother in the afterworld, did you see the gender of the baby? He told me, yes, I checked, I verified. It was a boy baby. It was a boy fetus. I choose this mother. So, in some other cases, when a person is dying, some family members would prompt the person to reincarnate. For example, in one case, there was a principal of a primary school. So when he was dying, his wife was sitting beside him and prompting him to reincarnate as his daughter's child. He told the dying husband, hey, darling, I know you are dying. You can die now because our daughter, is going to have a baby today. Want to die? Die now. And don't reincarnate to other people because I can't find you. So I think our daughter is a very nice daughter. Both of us love our daughter, okay? So please reincarnate as our daughter's child. A boy or a girl, doesn't matter, okay? And now I'm going to make a mark, okay? So the old lady made marks on the dying husband's buttocks. She used his finger, his index finger, front part, get some ash from the cooker, and made 3 fingerprint marks on the bottoms. So he pressed 3 times, and each one is lighter than the other one. About a couple of hours later, about maybe 2 hours, I think, or maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, a boy, the old couple's daughter delivered a boy. And they checked the boy, they saw the birthmarks. So a birthmark can generate in a very, very short time. It's a permanent birthmark. So a lot of people, so in conclusion, those spirits usually either they make a decision before they die, or they die and then the spirits find a specific woman to be their mother. Do they choose a mother randomly? Actually, no. In one case, he was killed in a war, so he's PLE. And he told me that he lived in a cow's house, a cow pen, for 8 years. I asked him, what did you do during the 8 years in the afterworld? He told me, I have nothing interesting things to do except to finding my future mother. I want to reincarnate in a responsible family, prosperous family, and healthy family. So I asked him, what did you do? He told me, okay, when the night comes, I would travel over the village, okay, check everybody, observe everybody, to find my future parent. So finally, 8 years later, he found a couple. In every aspect, he feels satisfied, and he lived there and reincarnated. So in another case, there was a little girl died at the age of 12, and in the afterworld, he made a friend, another little girl. 2 little girls are spirits, so together they crossed the river to the neighboring village to find a proper future mother. So they traveled the village, and the girl, after a while, the girl found a family, a target family. He entered the family, he studied the family, and he saw that the lady actually was pregnant. And the family has a boy and a girl. He was very happy about this. Look, he told me in this life, look, there is already a girl and a boy, so if I became the 3rd child, I would have an elder brother and elder sister to take care of me. And he checked the father. He saw that this family has a big land. So this is a rich family, a prosperous family. He would think, okay, this is a good family. Look, I could have a good environment. And then he slept with the mother under the same quilt, because at that time his father, future father, lived in the field to watch the harvest. So the spirits slept with the mother. They eat together until the last day. He saw his mother is going to deliver the spirit and enter the body. So last, I would like to introduce another case. In this case, this lady made a mistake, not intentionally, but accidentally. So this lady has 2 sons, 3 daughters. However, she didn't have a good fortune. His sons died at the age of 30. So both sons died. 3 daughters married to another village, and the widowed daughter-in-law remarried and with their young children. So suddenly, before there were over 10 people in the family, but suddenly, a couple of years later, there was only one lady living in the house. So this lady made a decision, resolution. Okay, I'm going to reincarnate in a rich family. Especially some like teacher or government servant. At that time in the village, people's life was extremely poor, difficult. Only people like public school teachers, public servants, they had a good life. So he made a decision to reincarnate into a rich family. And a few years later, he reincarnated into a retired principal's family. The happy life would begin? Actually, no, because everything will change. Everything can change. And then, very soon, because his father was unable to do work, so his mother divorced his father when he was only 5 years old. His father remarried 5 meters away. She has no chance to visit his mother. Then, very soon, 5 years later, his grandma died. Now he has to live with his very, very old grandfather. The family is very untitled, like a garbage bin. It's terrible. Everything is terrible now when I was visiting the family. So I think this was the life. When you make a good decision, you are very careful, you could still reincarnate into a suffering family. Topic 4. Why does each person die at a specific time? In many cases, I think when they die, the spirits came out of the body would see some enforcers from the outer world. So I would speculate that the outer world knows when exactly we are going to die. So, like this case, when he was very healthy, more than 80 years old. Suddenly he sit down, and suddenly he died, and the spirits saw a few enforcers. So, the outer world enforcers. So, during my investigation and interview, I encountered 2 part-time enforcers of the outer world. So this could be the first world in the whole world. A face-to-face interview some enforcers of the outer world. They do the work part-time. So usually, no matter they are sleeping or they are working, they hear something from the outer world. It's time to go. Hear a sound, illusion sound. Then they know there would be a task. They would choose a safety position and lie down. And then the spirit will leave the body, fly to the cloud and to another village. It's a group, it's a team. And the team leader keeps the order from the Yama or the outer world. They would take away a person's life. So we would see in our world that somebody will die suddenly without any reason, yeah, or with a small reason, small disease. We don't know why. A lot of sudden deaths, accidents cannot explained. So this could be cautious about the afterworld, I think. Because of the time, I will. You can read this part. So this is the team leader of the afterworld. He has served the afterworld for Yama's office for over 30 years. So he told me he would be retired soon because the task is less and less. He speculated that because maybe the Yama think he's told to do the task. He mentioned lots of cases, and I verified some of them. So only a few minutes left, less than 10 minutes left. Now I'm going to talk about my own opinions, perspective about reincarnation. My first opinion is that we die in a specific time, expected or unexpected. I think the universal reason could be our time is up. So if our time is not up, we will not die. Even it's very risky, we will not die. So death should be the least thing to worry about. It's not necessary to worry about too much about the death, because the death is on the playbook, is decided by the afterworld. So we are the actors. The second is almost all the world, the majority spirits actually enter the afterworld. The afterworld looks like a community. So the spirit actually has a lot of spiritual body function. So in the afterworld, it's a community, and we still need to grow. We still need to study. We still need to make a living. So there's a happiness and struggle like ours. It's endless. So as a human being or as a soul, it's endless developing and growth. In some cases, it seems that there's a playbook before the birth. For example, in case Yao Kuilan, number 41. In number 41, there was a lady about 30 years old, about 32 or 37, 34 years old. He died during the difficult delivery. So both the baby and the pregnant woman died after 3 days of suffering. So when he died, the spirit in the afterworld was very angry. She declared that, complained to other spirits, okay, the life, the fate was unfair. Who arranged my fate? Okay, let me die at a young age during a difficult delivery and left 2 very young children. This is not fair. I would make appeal to the Yama's office. So she began to prepare the journey. The Yama's office was very far, so he needed some money, afterworld money. And he was very poor in the afterworld because he died of unexpected death. His family members refused to burn paper money for her. So after a while, the local god heard the story. The local god asked Yao Kuilan's spirit to his office. Hey, Kuilan, come to my office. I have something to show you. So Yao Kuilan's spirit entered the local god's office. The local god showed the book of life and death. So this is a traditional book in Chinese folk culture, but this is the first time verified it's true. Yeah. So Yao Kuan-Lan can read, so he read the page, her page. It said, okay, Yao Kuan-Lan died at a specific age, okay, like 34, died of difficult delivery, and then Yao Kuan-Lan stopped complaining, and she secretly checked the next page of her book. It said, oh, next life you would die before 60. So in this life, this boy has a lot of past life memories, especially the intermission memories. When he was only 5 years old, he declared to the villagers, okay, I have checked my page of life and death book. I'm going to die before 60. So when I interviewed him, he was about 57, 56. So last year, he would be almost 60. I telephoned one of my guide among Dong people in the village. Asked, is everything okay with Wu Yuzhou? The current life was boy, Wu Yuzhou. He told me, no, he died of cancer last year. So he died before 60. So it seems that we have a playbook. We have a playbook, so we don't know. We don't know. Nobody wants to know the playbook before they go to the theater to see a movie, yes? So this is the meaning of life. We don't know the life. So that means we don't know the life, so we can make our own decision because we don't know the fate, the life. But that doesn't mean there's no playbook for us. So if we consider the life is a stage, so everybody has a rule. The rules are different. Sometimes we play very bad rules, like Nazi, like Japanese army in the Second World War. Okay, they genocided a lot of civilians, like 6 million Jewish people killed by Nazi, or 20 million Chinese civilians died because Japanese soldiers. So bad rules, good rules, but the same playbook. So I would like to say, okay, when the play is over, so our rules are over. So it's not necessary to say, okay, you did very wrong, I did very good, so you should be judged, and you should be sent to the hell. I should be sent to the heaven. Actually, I haven't seen anybody went to the heaven or hell among the reincarnation investigation or research. So my opinion is, when the play is over, okay, I think everybody is good actors. Okay, you are bad people. You play the bad rules, good rules. Everybody make a good performance. So we need to reflect. But the game is over. The play is over. Why should we forgive everybody else and forgive us? So in one case, it was a Japanese. In my book, he was a Japanese soldier. He killed in Longsheng County in the Second World War. So his body was thrown into the river, and then his spirit reincarnated as a Chinese man. He has never entered the hell, and he chose a special name, Wu Zhengri. Zhengri means loyal to Japan. So he has a lot of past life memories as a Japanese soldier. So I think maybe somebody entered heaven. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think it's a wisdom for us, to everybody, through reincarnation research, that to be a good man, to develop a relationship, friendship among good people, because your social circle is very important, not only to your current life, but for your future life, because your children will come from your social circle. So here's my takeaway for you. So this is the speech. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Carol Louis. You introduced me to the speech. Thank you, Central Virginia IONS community group. I feel very happy, delighted to give a speech. So thank you all of you, in person or online. If you have any questions, you can contact me, leave a message in my Facebook group or here.
Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to ask a question? Or anybody in the room here? We have someone in the room here.
Hello, Changzhen. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Anya, and you blew me away with all the information. You mentioned your idol, or the person who inspired your work was Dr. Stevenson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that Dr. Ian Stevenson?
Yes, Ian Stevenson. That's why I began my own research, because I read his book. I think reincarnation is so fascinating. So he inspired me to do the work.
That is amazing to me. Only this year, I was talking with a friend of mine who is born in Lebanon, and he is one chapter in Dr. Stevenson's book. And I did not know that until earlier this year, when I brought the subject of this group and that I like to attend this group. And I was explaining some of the subjects this group is talking about, including reincarnation. And he said, I am part of a book in Dr. Stevenson. I am the one case of suspected reincarnation in Lebanon. And I read that chapter, and he was telling me some of his memories, that he was visited by Dr. Stevenson, and he was reincarnated from another young man who has passed away in a motorcycle accident, I believe. He also told me that as an adult, he is about 60-ish at this time. He does not have those particular memories anymore. He said they faded with time. Is that something that you have come across in your research as well, that the subjects that you were talking to, as they become adults, their memories of their former lives are fading?
Yes, that's a very wonderful question. So I think the majority people, their past life memory recovered at a very early age, like 2 years old or 3 years old. Suddenly, they recovered by a specific incident related to their previous life. Then it depends on the interactions between this life and the last life. If the child can set up a relation with the previous life family members, they visit each other frequently, they talk about their previous life frequently, then their memory could stay longer. However, the memory, their past life memory is similar to our own memory without spontaneous past life memories. Like for you, can you remember anything happened when you were 3 years old? Perhaps very little. So if they are adults, although they had lots of past life memories when they were young, but now they are adults, maybe they can only repeat very limited accounts that they repeat again and again. So that's why I mentioned that it's very urgent to visit those children, not adults, children, because as a child, if you interview them, you can dig out lots of valuable information. Because you are a researcher, you are a professional, you can ask lots of questions. They can answer any questions you ask. If they are like 4 years old, I think maybe 4, 5, 6, they are golden ages. They can tell you anything you ask, especially about intermission memories. So this is normal. This is normal.
So, a follow-up question or another version. I wonder about, you said that you more or less get to pick where to reincarnate, or with whom, or in what families.
I'm sorry, your question was disturbed by a telephone, so would you please repeat again?
Yes, you'd mentioned that most people get to choose who to reincarnate with, or in which family. I do remember from the story my friend was telling me, his religion is Druze, and he said that it is very common in that religion, in that part of the world, that they all remember their reincarnations for some time, and they all believe in it and talk about it. It's a normal thing. So when you choose to reincarnate, has it it reminded me of a previous session a couple of years ago with IONS, where we had someone here who did astrocartography, and it was my first session to learn a little bit about myself through that version. And he had said that I chose this life. That was interesting to me, and you mentioned that as well. How do we choose this life, and why do we always stay relatively close to our families?
Well, I think that's another good question. I think there are 3 factors affect our decision about the future choice. The one reason, one factor is the social circle. Your social circle is very important because when you die, your consciousness, your memory will continue. Your personality, your preference, everything will continue. So, of course, when you die as a spirit, you would pick up a future mother among the either friends or acquaintances, usually among your social circle. The second factor is the position you die, because in the outer world, according to my research, usually you cannot move from one place to another place. In our world, you can travel, maybe it's very easy. You travel from the United States to Britain, so it's very easy, a few hours. But in the outer world, there are lots of local gods, actually. They govern, so it's difficult to move. You lack of vehicles, move from one place to another place. So if you die in New York, probably you will reincarnate in New York. So dying position is very important. The third reason, I think, is so before you die, you make a decision in advance. That's very important, because after you die, you could feel confused. If you make a decision, trying the specific person, set up a good relationship, then you could have a higher chance to be the person's child. So be prepared. I think it's a wisdom to make a success in our life. Just like you want to choose a very ideal husband, yes, boyfriend. You should be prepared, yes. You should make a lot of consideration. You should do a lot of prepare work. So I think this is very similar, I think. Yeah, thank you.
There's a question in the chat. One person asks, does it matter if you are buried or cremated as to what happens to you next?
Well, I think the cases shows no evidence that the funeral method cremated or your body was damaged, because a lot of soldiers actually their body has been damaged seriously. So you can still reincarnate because it's your spirit reincarnate, not your body reincarnate. So another question, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to say? Go ahead and say that first.
No. Please, you first.
I want to thank you again. I learned something new every time I listen to you. So I want to thank you again. And I want to address the question that Anya brought up about the Lebanese thing. So my son-in-law is Druze. And so I have a lot of experience. So let's talk after that, after the talk. And the other thing is that a lot of people are showing much more interest in reincarnation. And like you said, the more we can understand about how it works and it can guide us to live a good life. So that's one of the reasons why I do the Reincarnation Symposium. Changzhen Li was one of our speakers last year. And that's how Tom met him and wanted to bring him here. And so the other part that Anya brought up was, do children remember? And at this year's symposium, we're going to have Chase Bowman join us. He is the son of Carol Bowman, and she was the foremost researcher for children's past lives of American cases. And so and the reason why she did that was because her son began remembering when he was about 5 years old, and he's now almost 40. So he's going to share his perspective of what those memories have been. So I hope you guys can join us for that. It's in the end of October. And the poster is on the Facebook page for IONS. So I can't thank you enough again, Doja. Anhao.
Camera here. Is this mic working? Mr. Lee, this was a wonderful presentation and a good example of why we're so blessed as a group here. Thank you, Carol, for helping us get him here for us. And I'd like for all of us, if we can, to give him a big hand and thank him for his talk. I would say, too, that most of the description, most of the information you gave is very familiar to me personally, because I was born with a birthmark that came from a last lifetime. I have a child who was previously my father, and I also am animated by more than one soul. So all this stuff is old home week for me, even though I'm not among the Dong right now, but probably have been there before. So thank you very much. We have a wonderful program coming up next month as well, everybody. It's Scott Moore, who is a tantric energy worker, and I've heard him talk. He's a great presenter, and look forward to all of you here and all those on Zoom land that joining us again. We have a great will be a great talk in September, and we have a great fall lineup as well. So thank you all for coming. And for those of us in the room, we have our usual potluck lunch coming up now. And thanks again for participating with Richmond, Central Virginia Ions Community Group. And we'll see you next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.